So this one seems perfect. We got an i5 4590. So we got a 1050 Ti right here for $145. So we have a 1060 right here for $275. What's going on, guys? It's Valence, and we're back with episode 2 of the budget PC build series. So in our last video, we were looking over PCs and graphics cards to pick up. And in today's video, we're going to be picking up the 2 parts. So we just secured our first deal, and we're going to be biking to meet the guy for the GTX 1060. 2 hours later, here is our beautiful 1066 gigabyte graphics card. Here's the back plate, and here's the fan. Next, I went off and picked up the PC. So we picked up our 2 parts today. We got our GeForce GTX 1066 gigabyte version right here. Here is the gigabyte version of the card. Here's the back plate. Here's the front. And here's the top with the 6-pin connector. And this is how it's gonna look inside of our PC. It's gonna be faced this way. So there's the power. And here's the back plate. And it says gigabyte. Here are the connectors, and that's pretty much the graphics card. I got it for $200, and it looks pretty new. There's not a lot of dust on it. I don't really see any dust actually. And now we'll move on to the PC. So I picked this one up today for $120, and here's the back. So it's a really odd case. The power supply is really tiny, and there's enough space for the graphics card, but not enough space for a new power supply. So on the side right here, we can kind of see the CPU cooler, and here's the back with the power supply connector, and we got some display output ports. This one is, and we got some USB, some Ethernet, things like that. So the problem with this PC is that the power supply is a 300 watt, but this graphics card requires a 400 watt power supply. So let's open the side panel and I'll show you guys what's wrong. There's the side panel, and now let's get into the PC. So if I remove this really weird shroud over here, there's 1 stick of 4 gigs and 2 sticks of 2 gigabytes. So it's a really weird configuration for RAM. But the weirdest part is this really tiny power supply. It's really tiny, and it's just shoved into this corner. So I don't think there's going to be enough space for me to put a full-size power supply in here. So what that means is we're going to have to upgrade our case and also buy a new power supply. And I'm also planning to get an SSD to use as a boot drive, because we have a 500 gig hard drive right here, and we can possibly upgrade to 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes. So just to go over, this PC has an i5 4440 at 3.1 gigahertz. It has 8 gigs of RAM, and we have a 300 watt power supply, a 500 gig hard drive, and an optical drive, and this really weird case. But we're going to be upgrading to a new case, and we're going to be getting a new power supply, so that's not going to be a problem. So now we're going to be looking for a new case, a power supply, and possibly an SSD. So I found a few PC cases, and here are the options. So I found this Cooler Master case right here. Then I found this Corsair case with a big side panel, an NZXT H440 Razer case, and this random case right here. but I stumbled upon this perfect PC case for just the right price, and I'm going to be picking up this case tomorrow, and I'm going to be picking up this case in the next episode. Here's the back of it, the inside, and the front. So the case is $25, and I didn't really want to spend a lot of money on a new case, so this case will do for now. Maybe in the future I might upgrade to a new case with a nice side panel and I'll add some RGB. So now onto the power supplies. I found a few power supplies for around $70 to $80, but I stumbled upon two power supplies which I'm deciding over. So here's an OCZ 500 watt power supply. This is 100 watts overkill for what we need, but more is better. And the other one is a Thermaltake 430 watt power supply. And I made a deal with the seller, and I might be getting this power supply for $45. So in the next episode, we're going to be picking up a new power supply. And a case. And now it's time to look for an SSD. So I'm going to be trying to find a SATA SSD for around $20 to $30. So I'm going to be trying to find an SSD which is around $20 to $40, and I'm looking to have around 128 gigs to 500 gigs of space. So most of these SSDs are quite expensive, so hopefully we'll find a cheap one. So right here we found a 120 gig SSD for $35. So let's see if the seller is willing to give it to us for around $20. So hopefully this seller comes through. So it doesn't look like Facebook has a lot of listings for SSDs, so we're gonna be looking on Kijiji. So I typed in SATA SSD and we're gonna be looking for, so now let's start looking. So here we have an ad. It looks like they have a whole bunch of SSDs, so hopefully they have a cheap one. So here we have a 256 gigabyte one for $41. So let's send this seller a message and see if we can get it for around $30. So here we have a $25 120 gig SSD. It has some Chinese lettering on it, but so here's another SSD which is 128 gigs for $30. Hopefully we can get it for $20. So I didn't see a lot of options on Kijiji, so let's try and check Newegg. Let's sort by the lowest price. So right here we have 120 gigabyte SSD for only $21 from a random company. I don't know how reliable this is, but let's keep looking. We got more for $26. I don't really recognize any of these brands. So right here we got Western Digital. This one's on sale from $42.99 to $32.99, but it has $20 shipping. We got a Kingston one right here. So it looks like most of the SSDs on here are pretty expensive, so hopefully one of the sellers respond to us and we can make a deal. So thank you guys for watching episode 2 of this series. I hope you guys enjoyed. In the next episode, we're going to be picking up a case, a power supply, and possibly an SSD. See you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys are enjoying it, make sure you guys smash that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave a like on the video. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.